Right.
New Jersey. So thank y'all for your support.
Absolutely. I was at your first one
were.
out in New Jersey, and people love you.
People
are
love
very
you too.
excited about the book.
Well, thank you. God bless you all. Thank you for supporting this.
Every time I meet people, they say, "Do you know Ainsley?" I'm like, "I do."
They ask me the same thing about you,
they
and they say that we are so proud of you for serving military, and they've watched you
check
for
out the book.
decades too.
Awesome.
So.
Decades. Holy cow.
No,
I
you're
know.
very young. But we have all been in the business for decades. But you've been here on the curvy couch for decades.
Indeed. All right. Meanwhile, somebody who's been joining us for a very long time is Michelle Malkin. She's the host of Michelle Malkin Investigates over on CRTV. She joins us from Colorado Springs.
Michelle.
Good morning.
Hey, Michelle, you know, a long time ago, she came up with a book called Invasion. So you've been watching the people who are coming into this country legally and illegally. Apparently now there are about 130 people, 2 busloads of those migrants from Central America. They're in Tijuana, Mexico. We don't know exactly what they're going to do next, but it does sound like they're going to apply for asylum. But we don't know how many of the others from the original caravans have simply gone across the border illegally, if that's even happened.
Right, Steve, and how many of them are just going to simply disappear? Really, the bottom line question that I've tackled for more than 20 years now is whether America is a nation of laws or a nation of outlaws, whether we are a sovereign nation or whether we are a sanctuary nation. And this is a very significant showdown. For once, we have a president, a Justice Department, and a Department of Homeland Security that are explicitly drawing the line. And what this entire showdown exposes is that it's not just the fact that we have had such a dreadful lack of physical border walls, but that these groups, these caravans, are exploiting every aspect of laxity in the system. The fact that there is a massive overload in the asylum system. There's a backlog of some 700,000 cases. And as you alluded to, Steve, this is why many of these people are simply caught and then released. There is a 2 or 3 year average delay in getting an asylum hearing. And as the Justice Department and Jeff Sessions pointed out yesterday, it shows you what a joke the asylum process is in the first place, because all of these people in the caravan had already been offered asylum in Mexico. They do not qualify as the kind of persecuted, legitimate asylees that we should be awarding asylum to.
But because of the time lag, while they're waiting for asylum, a lot of them could fade into the shadows or decide to do something else. And the catch and release program, are you confident, Michelle, that it will actually be ended? Can it be?
Well, we do have a president who has firmly committed to ending it. But in order for that to happen, there have to be a number of other pieces in place. Again, not just a physical wall. We have to deal with that backlog. There are not enough immigration judges, and there's certainly not enough detention space. This is something I've been decrying for years now. There are an estimated 2,000, 2,500 detention beds in the entire country when we've got thousands of people crossing illegally, not just from the southern border, but from the northern border, and also entering through other ports of entry and then just disappearing as well. It has to be comprehensive immigration enforcement reform that we adopt.
Do you know, I've heard that the president could do this through executive order. Is it that easy? And if so, will the president do that?
There are things that he can do by executive order, and I think those are in the works. But this is also a call for Congress to step up to the plate, because it has been pointed out many times that there are loopholes that Congress could address and haven't. Why is that? It's because these caravans of migrants serve a lot of purposes. They provide cheap labor to big business, and yes, that's both Republican and Democrat big businesses that do that, and also cheap votes to the Democrats as well. They're being exploited, and it's a sad thing. I harbor no animosity to people who are law-abiding otherwise, who are seeking a better lives. But the fact is that we've got a sieve that we are unable to discriminate between people who are here to do nefarious things and people who are here simply to improve their lives.
Great point. Meanwhile, we wanted to play for you a soundbite we've been playing this morning, and it involves CNN's chief White House correspondent, Jim Acosta. He he sat down for a roundtable with Variety, the entertainment newspaper. And let me just clarify. He's talking about, well, listen to this soundbite. He's talking about how the president, when he attacks the press with hashtag fake news and stuff like that, that is an act, Mr. Acosta says, but it impacts the Trump voter and supporter. Listen to this.
The problem is that people around the country don't know it's an act. They're not in on the act, and they take what he says very seriously, and they take attacks from Sean Spicer and Sarah Sanders and what they do to us on a daily basis very seriously. They don't have all their faculties in some cases. Their elevator might not hit all floors.
Okay, so the elevators might not hit all floors. He goes on to say the White House attacks on the press could inspire violence against some reporters, and that's his worry.
Yeah, this reeks. Let's unpeel this rotten banana on so many levels. First of all, there is the, very common disparagement of Trump voters and their intellect and their abilities of discernment. And a bottom dweller, a basement dweller like Jim Acosta shouldn't be talking about anybody else's intellectual faculties. Number two, what is he really doing when he attacks the president for his criticisms and his very justified criticisms of the propaganda media, namely CNN and the collusion narrative network? What he's trying to do is delegitimize this criticism of the press to take this tool away from the president when he points out that they are spreading lies and falsehoods. Thirdly, what is he trying to do? As you mentioned, Steve, very astutely, there is a very dangerous undertone to what he is saying. Because what he is saying is every time Trump attacks the press, this is a potential incitement to violence. What a disgrace for this journalist to be falsely smearing Trump supporters and President Trump himself for inciting violence when we know over the last several years that it is organized leftist activities, the Soros groups, the Antifa groups, who are the ones who have fomented violence and division in this country.
Well said,
What a
Michelle.
disgrace.
Well said.
Real quickly, tell us about the Manhattan Film Festival. I understand they're featuring a screening of one of your investigative reports.
Yes, Ainsley. On Sunday, I will be back in New York City. I'm descending from the mountaintop, and we are very, very pleased and very humbled and honored to be a feature film at the Manhattan Film Festival on Sunday, 6 p.m. at Cinema Village, for an episode that I did called Railroaded, Surviving Wrongful Convictions. It's one of those areas where it's common ground forged between left, right, and center to fight these injustices in the criminal injustice system. You can find out more information at CRTV and on my Twitter and Facebook page.
Well, to entice people to go, we've actually got a promotional clip. Watch this.
21 years is a long time.
Sure is, especially for a crime you didn't commit.
Was there ever a point along this terrible journey that you ever doubted your son?
No.
And Brian, was there ever a point along this journey that you felt like giving up?
No.
He was railroaded.
Yes, and too many have. There have been 2,000 people who've been exonerated in this country, and I think it's a grave undercount of the number of people who've been victimized by prosecutorial misconduct, shoddy investigations, confirmation bias, and faulty forensic science. I've made so many incredible friendships and partnerships along the way as I've investigated these cases. And I talk about Brian Franklin, who you just saw there, who is a wrongfully convicted law enforcement officer, many others like him, Ray Spencer, Daniel Holtzclaw. I'll be talking about that on Sunday. There'll also be a panel. So I hope, I know I have a lot of fans out there who watch Fox and Friends. There's an opportunity to get a free ticket giveaway, too, if you check out CRTV.
6 p.m. at the Cinema Village right here in New York City. Michelle, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Congrats.
Thanks, Michelle.
You bet. Thank you. And congrats, Ainsley.
Thank you so much.
Indeed. All right. Coming up on this Wednesday, liberal policies are forcing people to hightail it out of high-tax states, like where we all live. But our next guest says there's a shockingly easy way to stop it.
And you're looking at the future of journalism. We are celebrating our college associates. You're going to hear their stories and what it's like to work behind the scenes here at Fox coming up.
Taking what they're giving 'cause I'm